I don't know. Just continue to just tread water.
I don't know what the that was.
It's never anything bad or never anything good. It's just blah.
I just want it to stop.
And I'm trying everything. Funny opens, anything to get the team going.
Thank you, doctor. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
I'm running out of ideas. Let's just win. Roll tape. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Uncle Dan's Best Bets here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, presented by Connors and Ferris. Before we get started, as always, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All the cool kids are doing it. Over 36,000 subscribers. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends, Mike, Jen, and myself, really appreciate it. Again, always special shout out as we head into the divisional round of the postseason. Shout out to Bob Johnson Auto Group. We work with Daryl out in Leroy, as we have mentioned. Great sponsor, proud sponsor. So happy that they were on board for everything on this entire season. And hopefully we take it to New Orleans. But again, buying, leasing, selling a car, anything you need, tell them Uncle Dan sent you when you go to Bob Johnson. We're still going. That's a positive. The negative is we continue to just go 3-4, 4-3, anything like that. Kind of annoying. No big wins, no big losses. We just continue to tread water. Last week, 3-4, lost the first 2 games on Saturday. Kind of put a damper on it. Steelers stink, didn't even show up. On the season, 73, 72, and 5. Just continue to be 1 game over 500. We're better than this. I have tried funny openings. I've tried skits. I've tried other videos. I'm giving it everything I got, guys. I promise you this. I feel like the Tim Tebow speech. Like, I'm giving it everything I've got. You'll never see a gambler work harder to make these bets. We will continue to do this, as I've said before, until the Bills season comes to an end. Hopefully, Uncle Dan's Best Bets is going on in New Orleans. But enough about that. 4 games left in the NFL season this weekend. Just 4. And I'm telling you, I'm so consumed by this Bills game that it's hard for me to pick other things. I still have 9 plays. 7 of them are a Bills play. 7. So this week is going to live and die on Sunday night. So we will see about that. But I did find 9 plays, and we will get to them. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment in with what your plays are. I'm trying to keep them under double digits. Bad things have happened when we've gone to 10-plus plays, okay? So we kept it at 9. But I just have some strong feelings about that Bills-Ravens game. We will get to that at the end. We will start on Saturday at the Houston Texans, or the Houston. And so we will start on Saturday afternoon. The Bills. I'm all over the place. So we will start Saturday afternoon, Chiefs and Texans. All right. I'm not really thinking here, going back to Nuke Lelouch. Don't think, just throw. All right. That's what we're going with. Give me the Chiefs minus whatever. It's 8.5 right now. You're getting Andy Reid on a team that has tons and tons of rest. Patrick Mahomes in the divisional round of the playoffs is unbelievable. Okay. 16 or 17 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 71% completion percentage. He just dominates this portion. The floor of Patrick Mahomes, the floor of Patrick Mahomes The floor of Patrick Mahomes, the worst that he does is he makes it the AFC Championship game. I'm still not a believer in the Texans. Chargers just laid an egg. Justin Herbert just screwed us and everybody else that bet him. So much money was on the Chargers. What a dumb play by me and anybody else that took it. Chiefs minus 8.5. Don't think, just throw. Texans aren't as good as we really think. Andy Reid, so much time to prepare. I like that a lot. In the Lions game, it's the night game on Saturday. I'm going with Jahmyr Gibbs over 83.5 rushing yards. I don't believe in this Commanders defense. You're getting one of the best offensive lines in football that is well rested with a running back against a defense that I'm not so sure of. They were able to hold Bucky Irving a little bit in check. He still ran for 77 yards. That game got weird. I think that the Lions come out at home and kind of flex their muscle. Gibbs has had solid games. He's been the feature back. So I really think that Jahmyr Gibbs has a big day. Over 83.5 rushing yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm trying my hardest here, guys. I'm trying to dig deep. It's been a long week. It's been a long season, right? And finally, game of the year. I mean, I feel like the Bills have played a couple of these. They played them against the Chiefs. They did it against the Lions. They've come out on top. I like the Bills +1. That's what I like. I think the Bills get the job done here. This ultimately comes down to, who do I trust more? Okay. Do I trust Lamar Jackson or do I trust Josh Allen more? In a playoff spot at home, I like Josh Allen. They talk about how these two teams are so different. The fact that it was a blowout almost gives me more trust that the Bills will show up with a better game plan, because things couldn't go as wrong as they did in that Ravens game back in week 4. The Bills have channeled the Greek philosophy, saying that no man crosses the same river twice, because the river is not the same, nor is the man the same. I like the fact that the Bills will be healthier. They have 7 starters that will be playing in this game that were not in that game in Baltimore back in week 4. A lot of time has passed. I like the 3 linebackers that they can try and contain Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. You're not going to stop him, but I like to contain him. As for some other plays, I like the Bills team total over 27.5. The Bills have scored 30+ points in every single home game this year, but 1. So you can get 27.5 team total for the Bills, plus 124 odds on DraftKings right now. And I like that. And I also like the over in this game at 51. Weather, a little bit of a concern. I still think this game turns into a track meet. And my other plays are kind of based off of this thought that this Ravens defense is so dynamic and so good, and so like they're the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens. I don't buy it. I think there needs to be context put in. I talked about this on the Buffalo Plus podcast. Since week 11, which everybody uses as the benchmark to why the Ravens have turned their season around and why their defense has been so good, that they're number 1 in points allowed per game, number 1 in yards allowed per game, number 1 in passing yards allowed per game, passing touchdowns, all of these things. Their last 8 games, there needs to be context. It's a little bit based on their schedule. Over those last 8 games, they played the Steelers not once, not twice. They faced Russell Wilson and the Steelers 3 times in their last 8 games. I was dumb enough to bet on the Steelers in 2 of those games. I'm not going to do it anymore. I think this Ravens defense is good. They're not as great as what they're made out to be. I think Josh Allen and Joe Brady will have a game plan to have some success. I did analytics this week. I watched film of the Ravens defense and the Bills offense. I'm crunching numbers. I now know about weighted DVOA more than I ever knew before. The Steelers' weighted DVOA on offense is 20th. So they faced the 20th best offense 3 times. They also faced, over those last 8 games for the Ravens, they faced the Texans, which is 26th in weighted DVOA, the Giants, which is 30th in weighted DVOA, and the Browns, 32nd. They faced 2 teams that have a DVOA, weighted DVOA, above 15. The Chargers are 12th and the Eagles are 13th. The Bills are a top 3 DVOA weighted team on offense. I think the Bills will have some success in this game. My caveat to that, this is a long-winded answer to all of my Bills plays, I don't think the Bills will be able to run the ball. I think the Bills have a very good offensive line, top 5 in the NFL. The best offensive line in football, I think we can all agree, is the Eagles. The Eagles were only allowed or only able to rush for 140 yards against the Ravens. Now, they beat the Ravens, but 140 yards for the Eagles is not great. They have a really good defensive line. I think this game is going to be won on Josh Allen's shoulder. Okay, so I predict a lot of short passes over the middle where the Ravens defense can be susceptible, and I see a lot of bubble screens to the outside. So my 4 props in this game to go along with the over and the Bills team total over 27.5, Dalton Kincaid over 31.5 receiving yards. He's starting to look healthier again and starting to become the passing option that I think they hoped he would be this season. I wasn't on the side of thinking that he'd have 1,000 yards, but he can redeem himself for a disappointing season in this postseason. And 31.5, I don't think is asking too much. I also like Khalil Shakir over 51.5 receiving yards. He had a big play in that game against the Ravens on a busted coverage, but he got injured midway through that game, and he still had 65 plus yards. So I still think we're talking about short passes, right? So we're talking about bubble screens, getting guys out in space, spreading the Ravens defense as far as they can, and attacking the outside. I'm trying to get in Joe Brady's head here to pick some to pick some props. And I also really like Dawson Knox. He's like over 13.5 receiving yards. Since Indianapolis, the last 8 games, he's averaging 30 yards per game. He doesn't get a ton of targets, but the plays that are drawn up for him have been really well planned and scripted. And I like the design of those plays. We all thought about Dalton Kincaid, but when he kind of went down, Dawson Knox kind of stepped up, and we have seen that Josh Allen trusts him. It is going to be cold. It is going to be windy. It is going to be snowy. I don't see the Bills necessarily chucking the ball downfield, but I can see them using the middle of the field to kind of attack the defense and on the outside. So I like Shakir with some bubble screens, Kincaid with some bubble screens. We know how they like to do that. And then Knox over the middle for a couple of big plays. That Dawson Knox catches one pass. I think he goes over his 13.5 receiving yards. So I really like Dawson Knox's. And finally, I like Josh Allen over 8.5 rushing attempts. He hasn't done it much this year where he's gotten to double digits, but when he's done it, has been all of the close games. He did it in the Chiefs game. He did it in the Rams game. He did it in the Lions game. Especially when the weather gets worse, they use Josh Allen as their big back. And I think that cold weather, they're going to get Josh running downhill trying to run over some Ravens linebackers. So over 8.5, I think it's minus 125. I'm also counting in a couple kneel downs here. So those are the 9 plays. I know I'm all over the board. I'm trying to summon what I got here, meaning 7 plays in that Bills game. We'll run through them one more time. Chiefs minus 8.5 on Saturday, along with Jahmyr Gibbs over 83.5 rushing yards. And then the smorgasbord, the 7-pack of lucky plays for the Bills game. Bills +1. And for everybody that says that the line moved, the money and the bets are equal. I saw the Bills are getting 53% of the tickets and 53% of the money. The Ravens are getting 47 and 47. Like, everybody said that must have been tons of money hammered on that side. Early on, it's all kind of evened out. So I don't see a massive sharp play, in my opinion. That being said, Bills +1. I think they get it done. Bills team total over 27.5. They've scored 30+ points in every home game but one. The over for the entire game of 51.5, because I think both offenses will have their way, even in cold conditions. And then it's Dalton Kincaid over 31.5. Khalil Shakir over 51.5. Dawson Knox over 13.5. And then Josh Allen over 8.5 rushing attempts. I'm trying. Really trying. Appreciate it as always. I hope to be doing this again next week. And I hope to have a creative, better open. Because I'm busting my hump, guys. I appreciate everybody that has followed along and enjoyed these picks. I'm sure Ravens fans will use some of this to say that I'm disrespecting them. I think they're really good. I think there needs to be context as to how good their defense is. I think it was a little bit favorable. And I go back to that week 10 game, that Thursday night game against the Ravens or the Bengals, which got kind of screwy. I think defense, they are susceptible. And Josh Allen will have a big game because he always seems to when the lights are brightest in the playoffs. Best of luck to you. Like, comment, subscribe, drop your comment, your favorite plays for the week, because we need winners. Share them with the group. Sharing is caring. Appreciate it as always. Thanks again. Best of luck to all your bets this weekend. And I really think, I hope, and I think we will catch you next weekend.